Ashes of Creation is releasing with 64 playable classes, and in this video we're reacting to the latest information about Ashes of Creation and all the classes they have on release. Well, what is up, gamers? My name is Susan. In this video, we're reacting to a video from a YouTuber by the name of Reydan. I'll put his link in the description below. He gives so much information about the 64 playable classes in Ashes of Creation. But here's the deal. If you enjoy this kind of reaction content, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. But also, join me live on my Twitch channel. I'd love to get to know you, get you interact in the chat. Link in the description below. But also, let me know in the comments, are you going to be playing Ashes of Creation? We don't know when the release date is, but I'm super pumped for it. And let me know if you're going to be playing, because I will be too, and I'd love to get some games with you. But without further ado, let's jump into the video. Let's check out the races.
Ashes of Creation will offer 9 playable races to pick from.
Okay, 9 races.
Of which 8 will be split from a mother race, with the 9th being more special and independent. Each race has its own starting area, located in the ruined cities of the 4 ancient races of Vera. Players will be able to choose between starting areas by selecting their respective divine gateways, regardless of their choice of race. The races in Ashes of...
Yo, by the way, this 21:9 like perspective, I think is incredible. I think is absolutely the widescreen look. I love it.
Of Creation are not gender or class locked, and they are primarily humanoid in appearance. Also, once selected, a character's race will be final. Racial benefits include each race having different base stats and racial augments. These augments
different base stats. Okay, normally most games, different races have different racial abilities, but having different base stats, that's interesting. Hopefully it's not too extreme, because if it's too extreme, then what it comes down to is for certain roles, some classes just become like best in slot, and that I'm not a fan of. Most games inside of WoW have different base stats. See, that's interesting. Does that cause like certain people that, like, if you want to be a tank, you should play this race because that's best in slot? I don't like when MMOs make me like basically take away my choice in order to be the best I can be. That I'm not a fan of. But I don't know if that's exactly what this is going to end up being like.
Augments are capable of being applied to active skills and will change how the ability works, and also apply cosmetic effects. So, keep in mind that your race won't just be a matter of looks. It will integrate deeply into the class system, and it will augment it. The result will be that a Dwarven fighter, for example, and an Elven fighter will feel different to play.
Oh, wow.
They will...
That's incredible. So even the class will feel different depending on the race you play. That's really cool.
Serve the same role. And now, let's see which are the available races. The Ayla Empire is the largest nation on Vera. Their borders touch upon every other nation.
Interesting.
Ayla humans are split into 2 races, the Kaylar and the Veilun.
Okay.
Build, order, civilization. These are the...
So that I think that's kind of like Final Fantasy, like within every race, there's like 2 different bits of lore for each character. Like, I know when I picked my aura in Final Fantasy, it was like, do you want to be this type of aura or this type of aura? WoW doesn't have that, but that's what it seems like it's describing to me within this game.
Foundational principles of the Kaylar. Their empire in the old world spanned the largest of all, and they plan to do the same in this world. Extremely loyal to their roots, the Kaylar will rise to the challenge. Trade, law, hardship. These are the foundation.
I know I said I was going to skip through some of this, but I think we might just watch it because I'm very interested.
Principles of the Veilun. They were forged in the heat of the desert, and through the ages became a blade that bends but does not break.
Yeah, I'm invested.
Through the development of a complex web of relationships and so a negotiation, the Veilun grew into one of the wealthiest empire in Sanctus, despite having few natural resources to exploit themselves. Their environment has taught them what it means to kill or be killed, whether through the beasts of the desert or the snakes in the market square. The dwarves are split into 2 races, the Dunir and the Nikwa.
I love dwarves.
Stoic, tradition, forge.
They're my favorite in every game.
Most of the people from the old world would see a mountain and think nothing of it. The Dunir saw a defensible home full of riches.
They look sick.
The Dunir take immense pride in what they craft and what they build. Fortifications that seem impregnable, warhammers that never break,
nice,
or beautiful gems for their royalty. Do not be deceived by their stout stature. They are pound for pound the strongest warriors the world has ever known.
Let's go, baby!
Courage, freedom, and family. These are the principles
I relate to dwarves in real life.
live by. Where the Dunir saw mountains as home, the Nikwa saw it as a prison. How could they complete the great hunt inside the cave? The craft of their brothers does not elude them though.
Dude, these races are sick.
Are highly skilled artisans. Instead of jewelry for nobles, the Nikwa see crafting as a rite of passage and advancement of the family. The question is, will you progress your people from the mountains of your ancestors?
That's really cool.
The Kaivek orcs are split into two races.
Oh, orcs, okay, nice.
The Renkai and the Vek. They both hail from...
I really like races that have, games that have races that are different than just humanoid looking, you know? Even though Final Fantasy does, most of them are humanoid looking to an extent, except for that one big bulky Hulk looking guy. I don't know what that race is called, but most of them are humanoid. I know that they're elves with big ears, but to me, elves, if the elf is like white skinned, then it's really just looks like a human with long ears. And then they're all the Lalafels, they're really short people. Those ones are cool, I like those. But most of the other ones, like their faces are very human looking, which I don't mind. I like MMOs that also have very non-human looking, like World of Warcraft has, you know, orcs and has night elves, but they're purple skin, so they look very non-human. So I'm excited to see this game having non-humanoid people. That was one of my gripes with New World. New World is a great game. I did enjoy it. Some things I didn't enjoy, but I didn't like that everyone was just a human. Because when I go into an MMO, I like there to be that big sense of just immersion. And what makes me really feel immersed in the fantasy world is when I'm running around and I see non-humans. Like when I play an MMO, it really is like an escape from reality. And in real life, like when I go to the grocery store, I'm just surrounded by other humans, you know what I mean? So when I go to like the town center in a video game, I don't want it to feel like real life. I want there to be dwarves and gnomes and orcs and, you know, Taurens, and so I think the fact that they're adding non-humanoid looking races in this game, I think is really, really great. It's good diversity, you know?
Protectorate, where they are taught that it was the will of gods that all orcs should rule over the nations of Tuvera. More recently, the Kaivek have adopted a policy of peaceful coexistence with their neighbors. This led to a split between the orc kind. So, first, let us start with the Renkai. Honor, power,
buff, dude.
Tranquility.
Buff.
Through staying centered, their power only grows. The Renkai believe in ultimate focus and controlling their immense power.
Oh, they look
When a Renkai
beastly,
becomes
bro.
enraged though, there aren't many men or beasts who can live and tell the tale. And now, moving on to the Vek. Celestial, purpose, fate.
Oh, okay.
These are the words that the Vek live by. When one stargazes, they find beauty that lies beyond our world. When the Vek stargaze, they find fate that lies beyond our time. Star maps, numerology, and
Mission, get out of here, dude.
are all integral parts of each Vek's life.
These guys look
Great
cool.
leaders read the heavens for how...
Even though, obviously, this is not, what I'm about to say is not a race, but they just look like a druid to me. They just, anyone what I'm talking about? Like, they just look like a druid.
Wars will go, which empires will rise and fall, and the Vek often ask themselves, are we too late?
Interesting.
The Pyrion Kingdom lies in the great forest of Erantia. Their capital is among the oldest and most beautiful cities in the world, while their universities of magic and martial studies are unmatched in the lands of Vera.
This is looking sweet,
The Elven Race is generally a secretive race, and they are split into the Empyrean Elves and the Pyri. The Empyrean are guided by pride, culture, and imperialism. Though not as numerous as the Kalar, the Empyreans are a force to be reckoned with. They have elite military forces
That's some nice gear.
and a highly structured government. The Empyrean Elves surely have a plan to carve their place in the world. On the other side, the Pyri have their ideologies rooted into nature, balance, and fury.
I have a feeling my wife will end up wanting to play these people.
They believe that all things come to balance in time, and that nature always has her way. Do not let their love for nature fool you though. It is very rare for Pyri to take prisoners. This race excels at using bows and spears.
Dang, they'll just kill you on the spot, bro.
The ninth and final race are the Tulnar. Their name stands for the Forgotten. This race is a combination of 4 major races and many minor races that were left behind on Vera after the apocalypse. To escape the corruption that befell Vera, they have fled to the Underrealm. The Tulnar is the only race with the capability to adjust racial appearance in a significant manner. Players will be able to adjust their character to be either more reptilian, mammalian, or humanoid, plus some other variations. Now, even though the lore and story of this race is sad, the saddest thing is that it has been stated that we will not be able to create Tulnar cat girls.
Oh my goodness.
The second decision you will face is what class you should select.
Yes, this is really what I want to see.
Ashes of Creation uses the traditional and familiar trinity of tank, DPS, and support.
Love it. Love the trinity system.
At the start of the game, a player chooses their
Ooh, that character creation screen is nice, dude. Yeah, that's nice.
Archetype. This cannot be changed.
Yeah, dwarves, let's go.
There are 8 archetypes, which essentially define a character's role. The tank, mage, fighter, cleric, rogue, summoner, ranger, and bard. At level 25, the player is once more faced with this decision. He has to pick from the same 8 archetypes. This secondary archetype may be changed, but not on the fly. The combination of these 2 archetypes you pick will define your class, and there will be 64 classes available.
64?
To explain this, let's use some examples. Let's say at level 1 you choose fighter as your archetype, so right now you are a fighter. But at level 25 you go ahead and pick mage as your second archetype. Now, follow the arrows, you would then become a spell sword, and that's your class. This combination opens up augments that can be applied in your primary skill.
Combinations, bro? That is insane. I need to see that screen again.
This combination opens up augments. Follow the arrows.
Bro, that's insane. Yeah, this is kind of like Dungeons and Dragons. Bro, this is total insanity. 64 classes? Wow, bro. So then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 types of tanks I can be, bro. Oh my goodness. So Mag, there's 8 types of mages you can be. That is ridiculous, bro. Wow.
You would then become a spell sword, and that's your class. This
wow, I'm blown away.
Augments that can be applied in your primary skill tree. For example, fighters have a rush skill that allows them to rush towards the target. A mage's augment could be applied to the rush skill, which would now teleport the player to the target, thus eliminating the charge time on the skill. Let's have another example. Let's say you picked Ranger as your starting archetype, and you pick Summoner at level 25. Your class would end up being a Falconer. While we do know what the basic archetypes can do, unfortunately for the 64 class combinations, we are in the dark at the moment. There is very limited information available about them, and the mage augmenting the fighter is the only example we have, so keep that in mind for now.
Wow.
Now, let's see what the 8 archetypes are capable of. We are starting with tanks.
Yeah,
Protection,
baby.
Command, execution. The tank acts as a shield for himself and his party.
Come on.
Entering the battlefield to execute his strategy. A mastery of focus and control allow tanks to achieve their primary goals. Those of helping their team mitigate incoming damage and to dictate who stands in the line of fire. Tanks will have different build options, such as evasion tanks, control tanks, and shield tanks.
Really?
All classes with tank as primary archetype will be viable for endgame. The tank classes are the following: the Knight, Guardian, Knight Shield, Warden, Spell Shield, Keeper, Paladin, and the Argent. Mages are masters of imagination, destruction, and power. They cause devastation across large areas and can apply elemental energies to break through any defense. While masters of mass chaos, mages are also adept at focusing in on the foes at hand.
Bro, this is dope.
The mage archetype offers 4 elemental schools as augments to a character's primary skills.
No release date yet.
The elements may have more influence in certain seasons and climates. For example, ice abilities may be stronger in winter. This affects both PvE and PvP. The mage classes are...
Did he just say what I think he said? Hold on.
More influence in certain seasons and climates. For example, ice abilities may be stronger in winter. This affects...
So he just said certain mage abilities are more effective literally depending on the season of the year. So in the winter season, your ice abilities are stronger because it's winter. That is freaking insane. That blows my mind, bro. So like I wonder if in the summer, like fire abilities do more damage. Oh, that's insane, dude. Wow.
Both PvE and PvP. The mage classes are Battle Mage, Spellstone, Shadowcaster, Spellhunter,
Mag, this is you, bro.
Wizard, Warlock, Acolyte, Sorcerer. Restoration, Enhancement, Debilitation. In a world full of danger, clerics are vital to every squad. They can protect their allies in a number of ways and when necessary, rip the life out of their enemies. As masters over the very essence of vitality, they can sense the broken and corrupted. They can heal and even resurrect those that have been wounded, or they can steal energy from their foes, effectively turning their enemies' powers against them during the heat of the battle.
That's sick.
Clerics keep their team in the fight by bolstering their combat abilities and cursing their enemies. Instead of simply supporting their allies through healing, a cleric is also capable of wielding destructive force in the face of danger.
That's legit.
By starting as a cleric, your class choices will be the Templar, Apostle, Shadow Disciple,
River, that's hilarious, dude.
Oracle, Shaman, High Priest, and the Scryer.
Bro, this is...
The Rogue is a master
This is looking incredible. This looks so incredible.
of opportunity, using skill, positioning, and the environment to dish...
Put a 5 in chat if you're interested in playing this game when it releases. I have no idea when it's coming out, but this looks incredible. Snow Katrina, let me just click on this real quick. So release schedule. Yeah, these are old betas, right? Or is this coming this year? I know they had some alphas earlier last year. Oh my goodness, guys! I need a 21/9. The 21/9 is just too. It's too good. It's too good. They're still in alphas. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, some people aren't expecting this game to come out for literally like 3 years.
Frightening amounts of damage. In their downtime, rogues provide solid utility, helping their friends navigate dangers otherwise unseen. The rogue is a more physical and control-oriented
Rogue
class,
is so nice, dude.
applying bleeds or snares, having situational damage and utility, being stealthy. That is the role you are going to play. While all classes are capable adventurers, rogues excel at delving...
Bro, he seriously looks like Assassin's Creed, which is nasty.
The deepest dungeons and finding the most hidden of treasures.
Oh my goodness,
Rogues
bro.
will have utility skills that enable them to discover hidden doors or traps, and maybe even additional treasure. In dungeons, these will be randomly spawned throughout different times of the day, to ensure that encounters are not the same each time.
I love rogues.
Stealth will not render rogues completely invisible. Instead, there will be indicators that can help players find stealthed individuals. Rogues will have the following classes available.
That's actually good, and here's why. Because sometimes rogues being invisible can be really, really annoying in PvP scenarios. It can be very, very unfair times. If you think about WoW Classic and in the Burning Steppes and everything. So having you not be fully taken off guard is nice.
The Duelist, Shadow Guardian, Assassin, Predator, Night Spell, Shadow Lord, Cultist, and the Charlatan. The next archetype is the Ranger. Death from afar is the Ranger's purpose. A master of the bow and
come on, Snoop TT.
The Ranger is more than happy to let others get their hands dirty.
Yo.
No one else has such a keen eye in natural environments.
Bro, that looks sick,
are going to have a minimum distance requirement, where they are eligible to use their ranged weapons, and there will be augments that can increase the range of certain skills. A character may equip up to 2 hand weapons, and also wear a ranged weapon on their back. On your back slot, you will be able to equip ranged weapons, shields, cloaks, and accessories, but only one of those can be shown at a time.
So this is more action combat, not tab target, right?
This will be determined by the player's choice. Characters performing the ranged abilities will switch to their ranged weapon, then they can switch back to the melee weapon. You will also be able to set the ranged weapon or the main and offhand selection as your primary weapon. What you pick will end up being used for your basic attacks. Choosing Ranger as your primary archetype will let you become one of the following classes: the Strider, Sentinel, Scout, Hawkeye, Scion, Falconer, Soulbow, or the Bowsinger. The Fighter is an expert in physical combat. A master of many weapons, the Fighter strikes fear into the heart of his foes. The Fighter is a mobile physical DPS. They are able to traverse the battlefield by closing gaps quickly.
Fighter seems like a warrior.
This class focuses on dealing burst damage while not letting his targets escape. Many times, the responsibility of cutting through the enemy lines falls on the Fighter. A true warrior that can get to the backline of his enemies and take out the support. That's what he is. Fighters are also very versatile and are able to wield a wide arsenal of weapons, either ranged or melee. If you start out as a fighter, the following classes will be available to you: the Weapon Master, Dreadnought, Shadowblade, Hunter, Spellsword, Blade Caller, Ice Sword, and the Blade Dancer. The Summoner.
This is legit.
This class is never alone. 2 hands are good, but in the Summoner's opinion, 4 hands are always better.
Wow.
With the right tool for every job, there's no situation they cannot handle. This means that summoners can shift their roles easily to fill gaps in a group's composition. The summoner uses many abilities that channel through their pets. You are essentially playing through your summons.
That's sick.
You will be able to have up to 3 pets. They can be either tank, DPS, or support summons. Their abilities will also appear on the summoner's hotbar. These pets will exist until they are killed, another summon is cast, or the summoner logs off. You may be able to name your summons, but you will not be able to change their creature type. Depending on the class and augments you choose, you may be able to summon animals, spirits, and even undead creatures like zombies and skeletons. Summoners can collaborate to summon even larger creatures, such as golems. Your class options will include
this is amazing.
The Brood Warden, Shadowmancer, Beastmaster, Spellmancer, Conjurer, Necromancer, and Enchanter. The last archetype we are covering is the Bard. Truly a force multiplier, the Bard weaves songs of glory and conquest, inspiring his comrades to reach greater heights. The Bard knows secret and powerful words.
I'm just literally in awe. Like, I'm not even talking much during this video because I'm literally just so blown away at the fact that there's 64 class combinations. This is incredible.
He's able to materialize terrible nightmares or convince foes to become friends. Bards are a support role that makes the party better as a whole.
It does look amazing,
Katrina. They are
Katrina.
intended to amplify a party or raid's ability to perform within their own class. That amplification isn't just intended for DPS, but also for support, for healing, for taking damage, for movement. All of this will be more effective based on proximity, mobility, and placement in battle. It has been stated that the Bard will not be a buffing machine, where they are only good for their buffs and then you get kicked out of the party. Instead, the buffs are going to be related to how they perform. Bards are intended to not be purely support focused.
Look at these graphics.
They will be a jack of all trades, including offensive and defensive combat abilities, in addition to support abilities and buffing. Bards will have a wide range of abilities to choose from, such as wordsmithing, acting, and musical aspects. With Bard as your starting archetype, you will unlock the following classes: the Tellsword, Siren, Trickster, Song Warden, Magician, Song Caller, Soul Weaver, and the Minstrel. And that's it for now, guys. Remember, The game is
That's
in its early
insane.
phases, and it's constantly getting changed and updated. I hope that for now, though, I gave you a decent overview about the races and classes of this game.
Well, friends, I hope you're as pumped for Ashes of Creation as I am. Those playable classes look epic, and I want to know, which one are you playing? If you haven't already, let me know in the comments below. But I want to encourage you, join this type of content live on twitch.tv/TwizzyLive. I'd love to interact with you, get to know you, and have you be a part of the community. But also, want to say a special thank you to our Patreon supporters. If you want to be able to support this content further, not only can you subscribe to this channel for free, but consider supporting further over on Patreon to unlock brand new exclusive perks, behind the scenes content, early access in so many different ways to keep this content going so we keep on making a positive difference in the gaming community. That's it for me today, friends. Thank you so much. We'll catch you in the next one.